of our growth. So I agree that we need to prioritize safety and continue to do that as part of our company. And
well, I look forward to getting back your comments and your commitments and those updated terms of service when you write back to the committee. Thank you, Madam Chair. I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. Chair recognizes the gentleman from North Dakota, Mr. Armstrong, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We've heard a lot today about the procedural safeguards, independent code reviews, server locations, and the corporate independence between ByteDance and the CCP. But I think there's something else a little more telling. When you were asked about Chinese censorship, you pivoted immediately yourself in knots to avoid criticizing the CCP's treatment of the Uyghur population. And I think it begs the first question, before we ever get to Project Texas, which I'll get to in a section. If the CCP demanded that ByteDance hand over all of the data that they had on U.S. users in their possession, and ByteDance refused, I wonder what would happen. I wonder if Jack Ma might have an opinion on that, and I wonder if he'd be allowed to give it. But let's talk about Project Texas for a second. Project Texas envisions a new U.S.-based TikTok subsidiary. You have stated that this arrangement is unprecedented. I'd argue the reason it's unprecedented is because it requires continual oversight and monitoring by the U.S. of a private business because it poses a national security threat. The new subsidiary's board would report to and be approved by CFIUS. CFIUS will also specify hiring requirements as well as interact with Oracle as it performs its data role. That is an extraordinary corporate governance structure. I have questions whether it complies with corporate law and fiduciary duty to shareholders. Yet the core concern is that the proposes unparalleled integration with the U.S. government with a private company, which will require significant government resources. All of that to allow a continued operation of a social media platform that has serious national security implications. And CFIUS's workloads already dramatically increased in recent years, with a 30% increase in declarations and a 45% increase in joint voluntary notices. And there's bipartisan consensus that CFIUS needs to be expanded as we speak. Mr. Chu, can you identify a similar corporate arrangement that requires federal to monitor? And
I'm not an expert on this matter. I believe that there are certain similar arrangements, but I'm not the expert on this matter.
Well, the only one I could find was the UK created the Huawei Cybersecurity Evaluation Center in 2010 to assess Huawei's tech and to detect malicious activity and guard UK's networks. That's worked so well that the United Kingdom is now planning on kicking Huawei out of Great Britain. You stated that TikTok has invested $1.5 billion in Project Texas. Are you aware of any discussions or proposals that entail TikTok funding or offsetting the costs of CFIUS' role?
Those discussions are, I need to get back on the specifics, but I can tell you, yes, we did spend approximately $1.5 billion on our side.
You spent $1.5 billion on Project Texas. But do you have you agree that if CFIUS takes on this role, they're going to need a massive influx of dollars in human resources, right?
I cannot speak on behalf of CFIUS, Congressman.
Should the U.S. government expend such resources to create this extraordinary...
personnel, and we will invite, at least as far as I know, is the majority of the cost, because it will rely on not just us building the infrastructure, but us, finding and hiring these third-party monitors who are vetted to come in and monitor this structure.
You talked earlier about the shareholders' ownership of TikTok, and you said 60% is global investors, 20% is employees, and 20% is original founders. Are all those voting shares the same? As far as a voting block of shares owned in ByteDance, do you know if the Chinese Communist Party, not Chinese government Communist Party officials, the Chinese Communist Party, do you know what their percentage of the actual voting block share of ByteDance is?
The Chinese Communist Party doesn't have voting rights in Take a ByteDance.
Chinese Communist Party members is a different question. Do the founders control the voting bloc of ByteDance's shares?
I do know that the founder himself is not a member of the Communist Party, but we don't know the political affiliation of our employees because that's not something we ask.
Does the Chinese government know the political affiliation of their Chinese citizens?
I cannot answer that question on their behalf.
I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Yield to the gentle lady from New Hampshire, Ms. Custer. 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. True, I just want to say I agree with all of the comments of many of my colleagues today that we need to take a close look at whether TikTok poses a national security risk. For today, I'm going to focus my limited time on how TikTok can better protect its youngest users. And I think a number of us have identified as parents today and have serious concerns as we relate to you. Just this week, I heard from a parent in my district in Nashua, New Hampshire, whose child was served harmful content on TikTok and has needed counseling as a result. This experience is not unique to this family, and it underscores the need for better child protections on your app. I'd like to dig further into TikTok's current safety and privacy controls for children. I understand that TikTok restricts certain app capabilities for users under age 18 and has additional restrictions and interact with them on the platform. However, these protections are worthless if any savvy child can easily bypass these age restrictions by deleting their own account and creating a new one with a different age. And by easily, I mean you can literally go in and open another account using the same email address. So I've been made aware by child safety groups, including Fair Play for Kids and Common Sense, that it is that simple for young users to bypass the age restrictions on TikTok. Yes or no, are you aware of this issue?
I apologize. I think that's a great question that you raised. If a user inputs an age and is blocked, my understanding is that if the user tries to do it again within a short period of time, and I won't disclose. But look at it. Yes.
Thank you. TikTok and not other platforms, but I'm happy to look at legislative solutions. In the interim, TikTok has a responsibility to do more to protect its young users, and I will accept your commitment to take a look at fixing that issue. Will you, let's see. Sorry, I recognize that TikTok has made efforts to provide parents and guardians increased options to monitor and limit their child's activity on the app, including still have concerns. In order to access family pairing, parents then must download the app onto their phone. And this sounds like a design to lure more users onto the app rather than a practical safety feature. Furthermore, downloading the app may not be a viable option for many parents. Mr. Chu, will TikTok commit to developing other methods for parents to monitor their child's use of the app without having to download the TikTok app on their phone?
I can look into that specifically and get back to you. But the family pairing that you mentioned is a very good tool that we developed. I encourage parents with teenagers
But it's not a
to use
perfect
it.
tool. And let me just say, one of my concerns is that the minimum time limit TikTok lets parents set for their children is 40 minutes, which for a young child is a very long period of time. Actually, giving parents control would mean providing them the freedom to set the screen time that makes sense for their family. Now, I've got a copy of the app page that shows just the 4 options, which the parent can easily set their own screen time limit.
I can take a look at that.
I think it's important. I think parents are looking for control. They're looking to allow their family to use these apps without TikTok taking over their child's media use. I've